What are the top red flags in Florida purchase contract?
Yeah, go ahead. You've seen a lot of them. So
Yeah, I just if you're the buyer, you're putting together the purchase agreement and you're submitting it, right? So you get to choose what you want in there. And maybe the seller counters and says, I want these things in, and maybe that's where we talk about red flags. But on the other hand, if you're the listing agent and or seller, then you're kind of reviewing what's coming in. And so for me, if you're a seller and you're getting like these off-market offers, let's start there, right? Like I'm talking to you as the listing agent or the to-be listing agent. You're like, hey, I got this offer already, or these offers come in. We get these all the time. One, if they can't put together a FAR bar as is contract and send it to you,
terrible.
Like we're not doing the deal. Like I'm not talking to you. Get out of my face. These
wholesalers will just put in random blind contracts and they go click a button and it like auto populates. And then I get these calls all the time, especially on land deals, but it is on regular home deals. You get these wholesalers or flippers that are just making random offers to 100 properties a day, and they're just blasting it out there. And it's just they're useless.
So
and one of the things too, you mentioned one thing, which is that oftentimes they're not on an as-is contract. They're on their own
weird
template that's terrible, that gives them 100 outs to get out of the deal at any given time. But the other thing you see often is that they have very, very small escrow deposits.
And
you'll see $1,000 escrow deposit or $2,500 on a $700,000 house. That's a red flag.
And a longer inspection period, because what are these wholesalers doing? They're putting it under contract to assign it to get a little bit of money on the spread. And so they need time to do that. So if they can get 30 days from you, great. They're going to do it. Yeah. So if you get low escrow deposits, because usually these guys are broke,
yes,
they can't afford to do this, and they're putting out hundreds of offers, and they got $1,000 deposits all over the place.
Yes.
And so like, if you see these things, like first thing is, as you just said, can't put together a contract that's a FAR bar as is, that's clean and legitimate, I immediately send back, hey, send me a FAR bar as is contract and we'll consider your offer. Thank you. Done. Next is those two key elements: inspection period, escrow deposit.
Yes. No, agreed. And one other thing, that the timing of those things. So if you have really long inspection periods, like you mentioned, not good. Really long inspection periods, which what I see often is I'll see some type of like closing date of 45-day closing date, which in and of itself is maybe okay. Typically, we like to see 30-day closing dates, but it's that's fine. But when you see a 40-day financing contingency on a 45-day closing period, or I even see sometimes the full 45 days, a 45-day financing contingency on a 45-day closing date, what that essentially means to the seller is that the buyer can get out at any given time just by begging their loan officer to give them a loan denial letter. The day before closing or the day of closing even, they can get a loan denial letter, and all that time is wasted, and you've taken that property off the market for 40 or 45 days. So we see that periodically. I don't know why sellers don't push back or their agents don't push back. I know you, as a very experienced agent, would not tolerate something like that.
We look out for that a lot, especially like know thy seller, right? Like for us, like it's like we got to understand your situation and what you need. Like if it's like a deal that's random and we don't have any offers and it seems like a great like price and we're probably never going to sell for this number, and they send us this offer,
that's something different.
We get on the phone, it's just like, hey, and it's an investment property, so you're not even living there. You don't have to move out like literally 24 hours before we close.
Or maybe you're collecting rent and it's fine.
It's fine.
You don't
whatever.
Close, that's different. You're right.
So like in those circumstances, it's like, okay, let's make the bet, as we talked about. Like I have this conversation. Yeah, let's gamble. Let's just see what happens. Because again, I say that to my sellers all the time, so they don't feel like they're signing something and this is done, because it's never done until it's done. And so I think that I think your point is very valid. A lot of our sellers, they have to move. Like they're living in this house, and you don't really want to move until you get the loan commitment. So like if it's 45 day, like there's like, what are you going to do? You're going to take the leap of faith there. And so you could do that. And again, if circumstance makes it make sense for us, then let's go do that transaction. But we're going to try to avoid that. So like for me, just to like highlight standard transaction, if I'm representing a seller, if I have like the ability to negotiate, not all deals you can negotiate and get this like optimal outcome. I think everybody needs to understand that. Like I have sellers that have incredible experiences with me, and they're like, God, you killed it. You negotiated the heck out of that. If the opportunity's there, believe me, I'm going to get it. But the opportunity's not always there. And
certainly in a buyer's market, and you have a listing that's been sitting there for 120 days and you've had no offers, you're not going to go super aggressive at counter, or at least you're going to give the guidance to your sellers to be very cautious in how aggressive they are in counter offering. That's a better way to say it.
We're going to probe, we're going to try, we're going to see where the breaking point is to a degree, and we're going to try not to. The biggest thing is you don't want me as your listing agent to turn away people or scare people off. So we have to be very careful with how we negotiate depending on what the buyer situation is. And so that just goes back to being really skilled at negotiation. But the optimal situation is an offer comes in, it's a 45-day close, maybe we get a 21 or a 14-day loan commitment period. Lenders can do this. It's just like don't give me the BS that lenders can't do this. They should all be doing this.
And if your lender can't do it, I'll introduce you to one that can.
Yeah, exactly. This is a thing, like super easy. But sometimes buyers and buyers agents aren't going to do this because it's a unique situation. Whatever. 14-day, 21-day loan commitment, 45-day close, 7-day inspection period, 5% in escrow. These things all are like indications that this is a fair, healthy deal. And anything outside of that space can be a red flag. Loan commitment periods that are extended, as you mentioned, but sale of home contingencies. Like these are things that show up as a red flag to the seller. So this is coaching to buyers and sellers. Like I know this is asked from a buyer's perspective, but if you understand what a seller is looking for, then you can create an offer as a buyer that doesn't throw out these red flags and shows up very professionally and clean.